Okay, so here we go. We're going to do a little comparison today of the Walther PPQ and the HK VP9. Now the thing is, there's plenty of videos out there already comparing these two pistols, but there's a few things that I think everybody should know who's possibly considering one versus the other should know that a lot of the other videos just don't seem to cover. So I'm going to go over that today and give you the food for thought on it, okay? Alright, so the biggest thing for me is probably the sights, okay? Now, Walther PPQ, as most people know by now, alright, does have the adjustable rear, okay? The other thing about it is the PPQ, the sights are actually very easy to take on and off, alright? Front sight, just like a Glock, okay? It's got the little nut on the bottom. It actually even used the Glock style tool to take it off, alright? Everybody's probably pretty familiar with that. Now the rear sight has the adjustment screw here. Okay, now the thing is, the adjustment screw actually holds in the sight. And then if you can see here, we got this guy, this little plunger here. Let me see if I can zoom it in a little bit so you can get a better view. You can see this little plunger right here. Now the thing with that plunger, when you push that down, it unlocks that screw right there, and then the sight just slides right out of the dovetail. It doesn't need a pusher or anything, it just slides right out. You want your new sight, all you gotta do, take the screw out, put it in your new sight, and put it back in the exact same way. Very easy. Okay, now for me, that's a little bit of a double-edged sword. The thing about it is, it is very easy to adjust, it is very easy to take on and off, but question is, how strong is that in comparison to, say, a more traditional dovetailed in sight? Now, this sight obviously is going to be harder to take on and off, but the thing is it stronger in there? I believe so. But I can't say as I've had any problems with this coming out or anything like that, or any issues, but then again, I haven't exactly put the gun, I haven't beat the gun, okay? So, you be the judge on that one. Just something to consider, okay? Other thing too is, with as far as the sights go, the factory sights on each of them, the PPQ, the factory sights, they're pretty awful. As you can see, these are Trijicon HD sights. This is one of those kind of like Glock sights almost, that they put something on there to call it sights, which are awful, cheap, and everybody's just going to replace it anyways. So something to consider, okay? The VP9, alright, now this one came factory with Meprolite night sights on it. Your factory sights aren't bad though, they're not night sights, they're these guys, which I just happen to have sitting around. These are steel sights. They're not night sights, but they are the glow-in-the-dark sights. Not something I would prefer. I definitely would prefer tritium of some sort, but still, these sights are a lot better than what comes on the PPQ, okay? Alright, next thing. This is kind of a minor point, but to me, since we are comparing the two guns, okay? So first, magazines, alright? So both 15 rounders in the 9mm. Now the thing is, almost every Walther PPQ mag I've ever seen, when you got 14 rounds in it, alright, you get this. And I've heard a lot of people complain about this one. You hear that rattle? Alright, these are Metgar made mags. They're made in Italy, okay? And they all seem to have, every one I've ever seen, except for maybe one of them, they rattle, okay? In comparison, HK with the P30 mags, which the VP9 takes, alright? Once again, 14 rounds in it, as you can see by the little witness down here. We give it a shake. We got nothing. We got absolutely nothing, solid as a rock. Alright, just something I've noticed. So, Food for thought, okay? Next thing is this is recoil, all right? Here's the deal with these two guns. They both got 4-inch barrels. This one, the VP9, on my scale, I measured it this morning, 27 ounces exactly, okay? PPQ, same thing. This is both with the magazine in weights. 24.8 ounces. All right, so if lighter is better, okay, yeah, PPQ wins that game. As far as the way they shoot, the other thing too is the PPQ definitely has a little bit higher of a bore axis. So between the lighter weight and the higher bore axis, and I'm not exactly sure as far as the spring tensions go, they seem to be about equal on how hard they are to rack. Not very hard. So as far as lower recoil, the VP9 definitely wins that competition. Does the PPQ kick hard though? No. Alright, neither one is hard. They're both in 9mm, so not a huge deal, but as far as one versus the other, the VP9 definitely wins with the less recoil, okay? Okay, next thing. Now this is something I gotta say I definitely like about the PPQ, which a lot of people, this is one thing I've not seen in any other videos as far as this goes. Now, let's see, we're clear. Alright, trigger pull. Hard to do looking through a camera. Okay. So me, every now and again, maybe once a year, I like to actually get and clean under my extractor, clean my firing pin block, take out my striker, clean in there, my firing pin, whatever you want to call it. Well, striker, firing pin, two different ways, okay? Same thing, but here's the deal. So now the PPQ, this little guy right here, this button, all you gotta do, you push this in, okay? That actually releases your extractor, releases your firing pin block. They just pop right out, clean underneath them, goes back in the same way, alright? Just push that down, it slides right in, it snaps, and you're good to go, okay? So it is very easy to maintain that. The other thing too, as far as the PPQ goes, see if I can get this to focus real quick. Perhaps not. Let me click it to manual. Okay. So the deal with this guy, taking the striker out of the PPQ, this little button right here, push it in, slide the back plate off, striker pops right out. Piece of cake, not hard at all, okay? That's one thing that does attract me to the PPQ, okay? With the sights being very easy to take out, the extractor being very, well, extractor and firing pin block being very easy to take out, and the striker being easy to take out, it's a very easy gun to maintain. I gotta say, I really like it, but like I said, that's the sights, kind of a double-edged sword. It's like easy to take out, easy to change over, easy to adjust, but is it in there as strong as a traditional dovetail? Hard to say. To me, it doesn't seem like it could be, just because the only thing that holds it on is that one little plunger and that one little screw. So, I don't know, but like I said, I've had no problems, haven't talked to anybody with any problems on that, but then again, haven't exactly tortured the gun at all. Okay, now the PPQ, or I'm sorry, the VP9, same thing. Okay, now the VP9, to take your extractor out, you actually need your roll pin punch. Right there. Okay. In fact, I'll just take this apart because I did it for the PPQ. Okay. So VP9, alright, this roll pin here, right there, is the top side of that roll pin right there, same thing. Okay. Now that one, to take your extractor right here out, I just put on a little block, little hole in the block, roll pin punch that out, extractor comes out pretty easy. Look at it there, clean under it, I don't know, once a year or so. Once again, not hard, but not quite as simple as the PPQ. PPQ gives you an actual button to do it. Alright, firing pin block. Not the most traditional firing pin block, as everybody knows, on the VP9. Okay, you got this guy, which is pretty far from traditional, so I wouldn't even attempt to take that out. But the way it's all right in front of you, it almost seems like you wouldn't need to. Now to take your striker out is actually just like a Glock, okay? See the little guy right there? Just push that down, plate slides off, striker slides right out, goes back in the same way. Really, piece of cake once again, but still just different, okay? I'd still say the PPQ wins the simplicity and giving you buttons to just do these things. Well, it takes a little bit more effort on the VP9. Not that you need to do that stuff that often anyways, but kind of nice to have. Alright. Okay. Now a few things we already know, a lot of other people have covered in their videos that are there, okay? Thing is, trigger, one versus the other, they're both good. This one is a little lighter on the brake, but a little more take-up. This one, shorter, but not quite as light as the PPQ. They both shoot equally well. Once again, what's your preference, okay? What do you prefer? Magazine release on the paddle, magazine release on the side, but you can get the paddle of that one as well. Everybody knows that. Ergonomics, one versus the other, once again, equally good. Neither one of them are as nice as, say, this guy, which supposedly these guns are somewhat based off. That's an HKP30 of the three. This one still has the best texture and overall ergonomics, but these two, I'd say, are pretty equally matched. You can get used to either one. Better shooter, hey, they're both great shooters. I got no problems with the way either one of them shoots. So it all just depends, you know, what do you prefer? Okay, last little point I want to cover is price. Alright, price is pretty even on both of them. Alright, this guy right here, 649 bucks. Now that's an LE edition, alright, that's got the night sights on it already. They're the Meprolite night sights. It also comes with 3 mags. Okay, now if you're planning on keeping these sights, yeah, it's probably worth it. If you're wanting to put on something like Trijicon HDs or something to begin with, maybe not so worth it, alright? But 3 mags and the night sights, all for 649 bucks, that's still a pretty good deal. And you don't even have to mess with the gun at all. It's my experience too, HKs, the sights are always right on. Very rarely have I seen, actually I've never seen an HK where the sights were off from the factory, left, right, whatever. They always seem to be spot on. PPQ, 589, now that's with their factory fixed sights, which once again are awful, hence why I have Trijicon HDs on mine. which is quite an expensive upgrade, as you can find out yourself. Alright, and that it only comes with 2 mags. So one versus the other here, which one would be the better deal? I'd say probably this guy right here, just because once again we get night sights, we get 3 mags as opposed to 2, and we're only talking about 60 bucks difference. Alright, but then like I said, if you plan to customize your sights anyways, maybe not as much. So hopefully this shed a little bit of light. Like I said, I don't think some of this information was covered in a lot of other videos and reviews. Not that there's a lot of great reviews out there, there certainly is. But I just thought this was a little bit more information that I'd like to put out there. Hope it helped, and everybody have a good day.